Hey guys, welcome back to the Custom RC Dungeon. Today I'm going to be removing the rear diff from my first Gen E-Revo, and I'm going to replace the ring and pinion gear. Here's the ring and pinion, and the part number is 5379X, and the diff fluid, or diff lube, I guess they call it, from Traxxas. You get 3 2-ounce bottles of diff fluid, and it comes in 10K, 30K, and 50K. I'm probably going to be using 50K in the back because I like a stiffer rear end. In fact, back in the day of brushed motors, brush speed controls, and NIM batteries, I used to use putty or JB block weld, and I used to lock up the diffs on almost everything. But now, with LiPo batteries and brushless speed controls and brushless motors, there's so much more power and torque that you need a little bit of slip in that back. Yeah, I don't have these locked up, but I think it's these big Summit tires that did it to me. I had road tires on here, and I was doing some jumping. I would say, mild to medium bashing, jumping on this pump track. I think they call it a pump track. It's a black top thing for BMX bicycles thing, but I've got a short clip. But that's what we're going to do. Pull this out and see if that's what the problem is, and hopefully we can fix this today. Alright, let's get started. Okay guys, before I start wrenching on this thing, I want to show you why I think it's the back diff that's giving me problems here. And this is the front. Notice how easy that front end spins around. Nice and easy. Now, look at the back. The back, it gets stuck right there. There's no way that it'll, going forward, yeah, it's still getting stuck right there. There's the spot right there. So that's one way you can take a look at it, but the very first indications of a bad diff on either the front or the back is you'll get a clicking sound as you're running it. So that's your very first indication, and then you can kind of troubleshoot to see which one it is. So I'm pretty sure it's in the back, whether it be the ring and pinion or the planetary gears, the spider gears inside the diff. I'm not real sure, but that's one way of checking it out. Another way you can do it is you can turn it on. And lift up the back end. You need a kind of a slippery surface a little bit. Front tires are moving no problem. The backs though, they're getting a little jammed up. Now if we flip it around and go this way, we got nothing in the back, just a bunch of grinding. Front wheels are moving fine. So that's why I think it's in the back. But anyways, I just wanted to show you that before I start wrenching on this thing and get all greasy and stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to get started on it right now. Okay, guys, the first thing we want to do is get these tires off. Now we want to remove this brace. It's got 2 screws here and 1 back here. And that's off. Okay, now we want to remove that screw and this screw over here for the push rods. And those are off. I put the screws back in the holes there just so I can keep track of them. So next, we have 3 bolts here holding the wing on. 1 right here, 1 here, and 1 on the other side. So we'll pull those off. Okay, now the wing mount bolts are out. We'll take out the last 2 screws on the shocks. Alright, now we should be able to remove the shocks. Like so. Should be able to pull this wing right off. It should slip right out just like that. And then we want to flip the truck over. We flip the truck over and we need to remove the skid plate here. So it's got 4 screws, 1 there, 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 and there. And we'll pull those off. Okay, now we can pull out the skid plate. And next we have 8 screws on the center plate here that we need to take off. Okay, I finally got those screws out of there. I had a real rough time with that one there. I had to cut a slot in there and use a flathead screwdriver to get it out, but I did get it out. And you want to loosen this one up a little bit too, so you can get this plate out of here. Okay, I got this center plate off of there. Now we want to take the grub screw out of our drive shaft right there. Okay, with that grub screw out, this should come right out just like that. And there is our diff down in there. So I'll get all that cleaned out and we'll move on to the next step. Okay, I got that cleaned out, and there's a couple of different ways you can go about getting your diff out. You can pull the pins and remove your A-arms, but I'm gonna just pull a pillow ball on each side, just enough so I can get my drive shaft out of there, and then take off these little cups on each side, and that disc should pull right out of there. Guys, I have lost all of the other footage I had about taking the diff out, switching out the gears and everything, and greasing it up, lubing it up. I lost all that stuff. So I'm gonna have to basically do a little shortcut here and see if I can't salvage this video somehow. I completely tore everything apart, and it was not the ring gear, and it did have something to do with the spider gears, but I will show you that in a second. Alright, where I had left off before was pulling this diff out. You need to take your cups off and then line that up. A pair of needle nose always helps out. you want to line that up for these slots here. And once you get one side in, you spin it just a bit. And it looks like the other side wants to go first, so we'll spin that around so it comes out through that slot. Okay, and you hold that side. You can see the outdrive right there in that slot. Hold that side, pop that side up into that slot, and that differential will pop right out. Okay. Now what we want to do is pull out these 4 screws here, and that'll split our diff. But I'm not going to do that because I've already got this one all greased up and everything, so I'm not going to do it to this one, but I'll do it to this one to show you the planetary gears in there, or spider gears. Some people call them spider gears. So I will split this one here. Okay, now once you take those 4 bolts out there, there, this diff will split in half, and this is what's sitting inside there, along with a couple bearings on each side. And then you take your 4 screws out on your ring gear, and you can pull that off. And there is the planetary gears right there. And what had happened was this was the cup that I pulled out of there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it or not, but the inside of that cup is completely chewed up. Now what had happened was the spider gears here, that bar going across, it had slipped out of its slots. It's got a slot on each side where that fits down in. Actually, I can pull this one out and show you. That there was spun around kind of sideways. I actually had to get in there with the pliers, spin it back this way, and pull it out of this cup here. And what I did was I put everything in this one here and greased her all up and everything with the diff lube and some white lithium for the pinion gears and crown gear. I went to bolt the ring back on there, the ring gear back on there, and these screw holes are stripped, so I couldn't tighten it down. So that left me in a bit of a bind until I got looking through my part supply, and I have this old hot racing diff out of an E-Revo, and this one, I'm not quite sure what happened to it, but it's all bent. It won't, the differential won't seat in here without it binding up. So what I did was I took the hot racing cup, which is aluminum too, and I put it inside of this diff case here. After you get everything put back together, unlike the way I did it, and also, this is very important, having that seal. There's a real rubber seal there, and there's also these little seals on the gears. I took that one off and put it on the one in there because you don't get the seals with the package, but they're little blue seals, and you need those on here on the crown gear, and you need it on the pinion gear. I don't know if this one has got it on there. We'll have a quick look. that one's got a shim on it, but it doesn't have that rubber gasket. It's kind of like a seal, a gasket, spacer. I don't really know what you call it. And then putting it back together, you make sure you got your blue seal on that pinion gear. Pop her down in there, and then you would pop your planetary gears in. I'm trying to stay in focus here, but or in frame, but I'm using a different phone here, and it's a little harder. But those go in just like that, and then you would fill that up with I filled it up with 50K. A lot of people use 30K in the back, 10K in the front, and like the E-Revo 2.0, the newer E-Revo, it has a differential in the center. I have a slipper clutch in the center, so I don't have to worry about the center. But yeah, you fill that up with grease, you screw it all back together, put it back inside your diff case. Of course, it'll have bearings on there, and an out drive for your drive shaft. And that brings you to this point here. And then it's just a matter of putting it back together. Okay, now when you start to reassemble this, put the diff back in, you'll notice right here it has an arrow and it says up Revo. You want to make sure that is pointing up, and if you don't do that, your front wheels will be going one way and your back wheels will be going the other way. I've done that before, so you want to make sure that those are going in with that facing upward. So we just spin those around to fit back into here, and that just pops right back in just like that. And then we start reassembling everything. Alright guys, this video is pretty long now, so I'm just going to leave it at that. You just basically go through the steps backwards, and you can get it back together. I want to keep this video under 20 minutes, and I know it's got to be getting close to that, so I'm going to put this back together, but I'll just quickly tell you what I'm going to do. First, I'll put my diff cups back on, and then I will get my drive shaft back into those diff cups. Put my pillow ball, screw my pillow ball back into the A-arms, and then slip this back onto the chassis. Get her back on the chassis there, and just basically bolt everything back together, and you should be good to go. And that is my E-Revo first gen diff repair. A lot more work than what I thought it was gonna be, but shit happens, I guess, guys. Anyway, thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, please leave them down in the comments. I'll do my best to try to answer them, but you really shouldn't have any problems. Just follow the steps going backwards, and you should be up and running again in no time. Alright guys, thanks for watching, thanks for putting up with my shitty ass videos, and I will catch you in the next custom RC video.